Hi. I'd like to do a quick tutorial for people who are having problems or having the desire to get Facebook Live working with an external camera and their audio interface plus a DAW. So I've got Reaper here. I'll just give you a quick overview of what I'm using. So I'm using Reaper, and I'm using a program called OBS Studio, and there's links right below for you for all this stuff. So and I'll have a link to this tutorial of how to set it up. Here's OBS Studio. I'm doing something called, so I'm on a Mac. I'm using something called an aggregate device because I need to have this software running. iShowU audio capture, which is basically um, uh, it's a piece of they call it an audio driver. So they describe it here. New and improved audio driver replaces Soundflower and provides a bunch of new features and improvements in order to make recording audio more stable and easy to do. So basically what I'm using it for is for sharing sound from one software program to another. So I think of it as like a router, like an internal router that um, routes sound from, like I said, from one piece of software to another. In this case, from Reaper to the OBS, the streaming software platform. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I've got that set up. So basically, um, you could download this here. Okay, and once you download that, you install it. There's a couple little tricks here. You got to confirm. There's a security thing you might have to do where you got to go in and um, tell your security and privacy settings to allow this to be installed. And OBS is very simple. Just click on the link and download, and it's nice and fast. And then there's this here. I'm gonna go here to my audio settings, and I'll show you how I have that set up. So this is for if you want to create what they call an aggregate device, where you're so I've got basically have two different audio interfaces and a USB mic. So I've got this little USB mic that I'm talking through, and I've got two different Focusrite interfaces that I bought at different times, and then I've also got the iShowU audio capture as an input device. I'm not sure if that really needs to be inputted. I don't think it does, but if I wanted to grab that from somewhere inside of Reaper, I think I need that to be turned on. And then for my output, all I've got is I've just got that checked off. Oh, I'm sorry, to turn these on, you got to check them off. And I'll have a link, to this page on Apple's website, which describes how to do it. And so then all I've got turned on, so Scarlett Solo, that's the Focusrite interface that I'm using as my main my audio out. So like my speakers are hooked up to that. And the iShowU audio capture is set here as an output device so that I could, send the audio from Reaper to OBS. So let's look at Reaper now real quick. So if I open up Reaper and I'll show you my preferences and my audio settings. So right here I've got that input device. So let's open that one more time. That input device is set to this. That input device is set to the streaming input, which then enables me, when I'm inside of Reaper, to choose all of those options. Like when I go to a track and go to input, I've got all these different things to choose from that are checked off here, right? So if we look at this, we see I've got Scarlett, 2 different Scarletts, my mic. So here we've got the built-in input, which is checked off. We've got my Scarlett, 2 different Scarletts. We've got the mic, and then we've got iShowU capture input 1 or 2, okay? So that's what's happening there. And then if I look here to my output device, it's the multi-output device, which we set up a few minutes ago, or I showed you that it was set up, and there's that, okay? So now, you know, we see as I'm talking, I'm getting a signal, right? And once I play, I'm also getting a signal. So you know what I'm doing here, I've got a cool software synthesizer called Omnisphere. It enables me to have 8 different patches all installed at once, and I could play them together or separately or over, you know, different ways. I could split up the keyboards for different patch sections for different sections on the keyboard and play them all at once through this live interface, which I'm not using at this point. And the other thing I've got it set up is I've got 5 different, if we go here to the mixer, you'll see I've got 5 different multis running. And see, they've got, each one of these is a different patch, and they're on different channels. So I've got a little Arturia key step here, and I could switch the channels, and each one of these different patches comes through a different channel. And then I've got those routed so that each one of them has their own output. So let's see, if I switch to channel 2, you'll see that channel 2 is out, right? If I switch back to channel 1, you'll see channel 1's output, and this takes a minute for that to stop from the last note I played. And so then I could mix this one separately. You know, I have different controls over this, and if I want, I can add its own, you know, I could go here and add in some different effects, you know, from Reaper's VST effects, or ones that I've purchased, etc., or free ones. However I've got them, I could add them here. And so we'll close that, and I could only, you know, add them to those separate individual patches. Okay. So that's kind of an overview of what's happening with the audio. So let's look at the OBS Studio now. So this is what it looks like when you turn it on. So first thing I want to do is add some video sources. So to do that, I go here to Source. I hit this plus sign, Video Capture Device, and I'm going to grab my webcam, hit OK, and here in Device, it's going to show what I have hooked up. And I'm just going to hook my phone up as well, so that's another option to choose from. If you had a camcorder and you had it hooked up to a video capture card or device, something like the Elgato Camlink, you would be able to choose your camcorder here as well. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to spread this out so it fills the window, and let's grab my iPhone. And so now, just so you see how the iPhone works, let's keep opening up that. So now I've got my iPhone, so if I turn this off, right, and I've got to turn my iPhone on. And so now what I can do is basically, if I use my camera, so now it's showing what's on the camera. And then I could spread this out so it pulls that. Okay? So a couple different things you can do if you want to use your camera. It's a little tricky because some of the different things are, you know, I haven't figured out how to get if you turn off the autofocus, it always shows this setting on I haven't figured out how to use it, so I've just been using the webcam until I could get a capture device. And then let's go to the settings here. So first let's set up the audio. And it doesn't look like I'm getting audio through for some reason. Why is test check? Oh, because I've got the sound turned off. Okay. Here, let me turn off my speakers. Okay. So now I've got a signal coming through here, right? Now I'm talking. And now I'm playing my synth. And I can talk over my synth as well. Right? Because everything's coming free. So if I go here to Reaper, just to prove this is working, and if I mute this, and now if I mute just so I could, so the reason I do this is obviously I could do everything from inside of Reaper if I want to, right? So if I mute this, and of course if I wanted to, I could like set the mic up separately as a separate audio device. I'll show you how to do that real quick here. So let's go back here to settings, audio. And see, I could have a whole number of different inputs for audio, up to looks like 4 or 5. So I could choose one of these other ones if I want. And then this is important too, so if you want to be able to monitor it, so I've got it monitoring to my Scarlett. And then I plug the headphones into that so I could hear what I'm doing. Okay. And then the last step is getting to Facebook Live. So let's pretend I was on my home page. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to say Facebook Live. So I'm going to click on this link. I'm not just going to say it, I'm going to click on it and then go to this link. And then that's going to take me to this live page. And I could either use the new interface or the old interface. I think this might be the new one. I'm not sure why I don't have that choice. Usually you see it. So this shows, so right now it's set from my camera. So here's the video coming from my webcam, which is basically the same video coming from, because I have this set to webcam. Oh, I wanted to do one other thing. Let's do this real quick. So I'm just going to add an image so you see how to do that. Okay. So you could also add an image if you wanted to be like, to be captured on your video. So I'm going to do that for now. Okay. So we got to switch this setting right here, get started, to use stream keys. Now I've got it set to a persistent key, which basically means that can be reused every time you go live. So I could just set this up, save it in OBS, and then blam, when I'm ready to go, it's all ready. I just got to connect here, and So I've been leaving that on, so I can do that. And so the other thing I need to do here then is go to settings, go to stream. I think this is already in there, but I'll just repaste it. Hit OK. So now I'm ready to stream, right? So I'm going to hit start streaming. And this should change. Did you see how it changed now to connecting live video? And so basically now, there we go, I'm ready to go. It's got my screenshot on there. And if I switched it to something else, so it's on a little bit of a time delay. So I'm switching it over to the webcam. And in about 15 to 30 seconds it'll switch. There we go. So I switched it to the phone, and then I switched it to the webcam after. There we go. Okay? So let me know if you need any help, or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them for you as best I can.